Hey everyone, it's Craig from No Limit Logistics. I hope you are having a amazing week so far, and I am confident that your week's going to become even better after watching this video. So I recently attended a 3-day goal setting event to kick off my new year the right way. Many can attribute setting goals at the beginning of the year like making new year resolutions. How many of us out there have had the intentions of setting goals for the new year, started to take some steps on them, and then after a short period of time, just stop working on them? That'd be me. I'm one of those. So if you are one of those people, you're definitely not alone, right? A study recently from Inc.com shows that 92% of people do not actually achieve their goals. That's a ton, right? 92%. So if you're one of those 8% that do achieve your goals on a regular basis and you have a good process, you're very unique in that regard. You pat yourself on the back for that. So, being myself one of those 92 percenters, I realized that I did not know how to properly set goals and achieve them. So many things happen over the course of a day, a week, or a month. And unless you're in the right mind frame to create the right environment to focus on your goals daily, they just generally become more of a dream than a reality. Life just happens, right? It gets in the way. So next thing you know, the year's gone by and you're disappointed for not achieving them. And then when the next year rolls around, you're just kind of like, oh well, I tried to do them the year prior and it didn't work out for me this well, so I think maybe I'll just bypass it. And so the point here is I've got three main takeaways from this goal retreat that I attended. It was extremely powerful and overwhelming in some cases. So I'm here to kind of just break that down so that you don't have to go through that per se. But it took some time to digest and reflect. So breaking those three things down for you, hopefully will just kind of help you move forward, stay on track. Maybe you've got some goals and maybe you're working on them. Maybe you're actually making some progress, but you get hung up from time to time. So maybe there's a few nuggets in here that will just help you stay on track. So the first one is decide what you really want to achieve and own that, right? So since you're going to actually be taking the time to work and achieve goals, it should be something that's really important to you, something that you really kind of feel, right? And so that could be, maybe it's a pay raise at work. Maybe you're really passionate about getting a pay raise. Maybe it's to get a new car. Your old one is just not having it anymore. And so maybe it's to get a new car, but you're going to have to save up for that. Maybe it's to lose weight. That's a common one that a lot of people have. And that's one of the more common ones that simply don't get achieved. People go and they'll work out for the first month or so, and then the gym membership just comes on autopilot and they don't even go, right? But maybe it's to travel, or maybe it's to create a better process at your work that's going to actually make your job more enjoyable, more easier to do, more efficient. But in the end, know your why behind these goals that you want to achieve. It's going to make your process so much more meaningful and easier to accomplish. Number two is take the time to reflect on what is most important to you to achieve and write these things down. Don't just think about them, write them down, right? Put them down on a piece of paper, take a sheet, and just start writing, right? Don't do anything other than just start writing them down. Once you have them down, you could have five, you can only have five. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 100, right? Just write them down though. It's a really good exercise, and you really kind of it starts to open up the ideas, right? And then after that, and again, don't worry how big or small you think they are, right? Just write it down. That's the big thing. So after you write these goals down, you're going to prioritize them, right? So you're going to categorize them into, we'll call it groups A, B, and C, or D, depending on how many you have, right? But you're just going to categorize them from most important to the least important at this point in time. All goals are important, but what you want to achieve today, or the first thing you want to knock off your list, that's going to be in group A. And I would recommend no more than 3 to 5 goals per group. And if 3 to 5 seem too much, then just narrow it down to one or two, right? The point here is that we're identifying our most important ones and we're going to focus on those only, right? We're going to focus first on group A, and then we're going to start to knock these things off, and then we're getting wins, right? We're saying, man, I'm achieving these things, I'm writing them down, I'm knocking them off, and I'm achieving something. So it keeps you motivated, it keeps you going. Just know that this process may feel weird, right? Because you're writing them down, and it when you're writing things down, your brain's thinking at the same time, and so emotions and things might start to come up, and so you might start to feel a little bit out of your comfort zone. but it's a good thing, right? So don't let that distract you. Just know that you may be a little bit out of your comfort zone writing these things down. Maybe you've never done it before and it feels a little weird. For some people, especially ones that write a lot, maybe they journal, whatever, this may feel totally natural and maybe you already do it. Nonetheless, just embrace the process and know that you're taking action and possibly going to get out of your comfort zone, but embrace that. It's going to feel good. The third, finally, and this is probably one of the most important steps, write down your action plan and how you're going to achieve that goal. This is very important. What are the steps that you're going to take little by little that's going to help you chip away and achieve this? You might achieve your goal in 1 week. It may take you all year, right? So you're just going to have an action plan as to how you're going to do that. And an example for that is I'm just going to use the example of having some processes or things that's going to make my job easier, right? And let's face it, nobody really enjoys going to work, right? For the most part. So if there's something that we can do that's going to help make our job a little bit easier and more enjoyable, then that might be a goal for you, right? So my action plan may look something like this. I'm going to take, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day to record specific steps that I can do that may save me 5 to 10 minutes on a particular task throughout the year or throughout the month. Maybe you have a certain quarterly goal that you need to meet, right? But just taking 5-10 minutes a day, in over the course it may take you may be able to knock this out in 10 or 20 minutes, right? So it may not even take that long, but you're going to write that action plan that's going to create more efficiency in your job. By the way, with this particular one, you may get two birds with one stone, because if you're creating more efficiency in your job and you're being more productive, that's going to reflect on your boss and your manager. And so maybe that pay raise that you didn't have as achieving a goal, maybe it just comes naturally. So there's some ideas that you can take from those types of things, right? So if you get into that situation, maybe you don't really know where to start either. Like, I don't know what my action plan, I don't know what the steps are going to take. That's okay. And that's actually a pretty good thing, because what the next thing you need to do is you need to tell people what your intentions are. It could be at work, right? Maybe I go to my boss and say, boss, I want to put this plan in place to make me more efficient at my job and save the company money, right? And what that's going to do is that's going to spur ideas. You're going to have a conversation at that point, and there's going to be ideas that come up, right? Same thing with weight loss or whatever. You may tell your spouse, or you may tell your friend or somebody, right? These are the ideas that I have. This is what I want to achieve. And do you have any suggestions for me on what my action plan could look like that will help me, right? You do this, you're going to be amazed, seriously, how fast you start to just chip away and knock these goals out, right? It's going to be awesome. Another good handy tool is to keep these goals in front of you. You want either put them on a piece of paper. I use 3x5 cards that I've written down, and I will keep them at my work. I will maybe keep them in my car. I might put them on my nightstand. I will read them time to time, if not daily. But the simple act of seeing them, you might actually it may just stay top of mind. You may not even have to actually read them, because you've already written it down, you already know what's on there. And so just the act of seeing that may be very powerful for you. And what's going to happen is just you're naturally going to program your subconscious mind to focus on these goals, right? I'm tired of seeing that paper. I don't know, you're not necessarily tired, but I keep seeing that piece of paper daily, all the time. And I realize maybe I'm not really working on my goals. So just seeing that thing is going to it's going to spur you to take action at some point in time, if not immediately. So keep that in mind. So that's the 3 steps in terms of breaking it down in simplest form. There's so many things, so many rabbit holes, if you will, that you can go down with working on your goals and achieving them. So the process, or the point, is to let's keep things very, very simple. And that's why I said early on, you're only going to focus on your A goals right at this very moment. The point is so you don't get too distracted and you don't get too overwhelmed with, oh man, I've got 20 goals that I want to achieve, right? Start somewhere, take action, and start with that A group. And again, it could be 1, that could be 5. Just don't do more than 5. That's the thing, because that list gets longer, it's going to get overwhelming, right? And so that goes for your action plan. You're only going to write down your action plan for your A group goals. As you start to knock those goals off, then you start to maybe write down action plan for your B goals and your C goals, but make sure that you are achieving your A goals first, and that's what you're prioritizing. It's okay if you don't achieve all your goals for the year. Some of those are going to roll over, but that's why we want to take care of the most important ones first, because it's going to give you the most fulfilled year, if you will, the most fulfilled experience. You're going to be happier that you're achieving these things, and you're knocking them out. For me, I always had a thought of, man, I really should write down goals, but I just don't know where to start, right? Or I think about it in my mind like, oh, I'm going to eat healthier this year, right? Well, without an action plan, without something in writing, it's just, it becomes an afterthought, unfortunately. And that's just kind of how our body works. So you're not unique in the sense that there's nothing wrong with you if for whatever reason doesn't work out that way. So just keep those things in mind. And of course, I hope that you've gotten something from this message. The point is again, let's just help each other, right? Let's take care of each other. And we're all humans, and so we should all be able to kind of live a fulfilled and accomplished life. And so that's what I want for you. And if you just don't know where to start and you're kind of struggling, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you virtually, in person, if we're in the same state. I'm in Colorado, but I'll be more than happy to sit down and just go over more in depth with what I've learned. I mean, my book that we got at this goals retreat, we filled out over 150 pages. Right. So it is a book. It's a binder. It's a 3-ring binder. So I have a ton of content. I just, don't want to overwhelm you. Let's get you started. Let's keep it simple. And then that way you're going to take 2021 and you're just going to rock it. You are going to absolutely destroy it. I know you will. So again, if you found this message helpful, would really, really appreciate a thumbs up, a like, or if you didn't like it for whatever reason, that's okay too. Let me know, right? The point is to create meaningful content that's going to be useful for you. That's why I'm creating these videos. And so if you found it useful, reach out. Let's have some conversation. If nothing else, a simple like tells me that you've enjoyed it and it's useful for you. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and we will talk soon. Take care.